do this lesson here. This is the one that I've titled Abbey Road. So we're going to end up making something that looks like this image, so those nice silhouettes. And we're going to make it from this picture here, so that classic picture. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to jump over here to Illustrator. I'm just going to start a new file. It doesn't matter which one you pick. Let's just say you're on this one. What we're going to do to make this work is, very importantly, I'm going to change my setting to make sure that they're in inches. And then we can just do like a regular size piece of paper. So maybe 8.5 by 11. I'm going to make mine landscape. So I just click that little landscape button. And then there we go. I've got my artboard all set up. So I'm going to come back to my canvas. I'm just right clicking. I'm going to copy this image, and I can do a couple things. I can right click and say paste, or my keyboard shortcut is Command V or Control V for you. I'm going to size this up so that it's nice and large. Remember, you can hold down Shift and the Alt key or Option key, and that'll constrain it there to make it nice and large. Now we're going to be working with our layers a lot today, so I'm going to ask you to do something a little bit different. I'm going to click and I'm going to drag these layers all the way down here to the bottom where I see that little blue line, and there we go, snap. And then let's jump back to our properties. So this is going to let us kind of see both things at the same time. So there we go. I've got my layers, and everything's looking good.
June Irby to the main office. June Irby to the main office.
All right. Well, today we're going to be talking about, I guess, hopefully we can cut that one out. We'll see. Here we go. Obviously, I'm at the school recording this. We're going to lock this background. So normally we open this up and then we click the lock button here, but I'm going to have you do something else. I'm going to have you just lock that entire layer. And if I double click on this, I can just call this whatever I want. So I'm going to call that one background. I'm going to hit enter, and there we go. There's a nice little idea of what we have. But the problem is that when I try to draw something, I can't, because that layer is locked. So I'm going to have you do a new layer here. So this little square button down here, it's going to do a new layer. That is going to give us our second one. And as long as I have it highlighted here, then I can start dragging those rectangles. We're going to be focused on our pen tool today. And we're going to outline each one of these people individually. And then we're going to end up bringing this all together into one big, happy, finished product here. So I'm going to use my pen tool. I'm going to kind of zoom in on this, and let's just go ahead. We're going to start by clicking, and I'm just going to kind of click and drag over this. And I'm seeing that I kind of probably should grab this right here, and I'm just going to give this a rough estimation of what's going on. Again, I'm holding down the space bar and using that to kind of pan. Now, I'm noticing something here. This is not going to quite bend right, but that's okay. I can always clean this up later. I'm really just focused on getting those anchor points kind of set. And so I'm going to go kind of like wherever there's kind of a turn. And even though, right, it's not looking quite perfect, that's okay, because all I'm going to do is highlight this. Now, I'm starting to not be able to see my subject here, so let's do something really quick. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to change my fill to empty. I'm going to change my stroke to something that I can see, maybe something bright. Let's do yellow. And let's continue on with our work. That's kind of nice. I don't have to like close my pen tool or anything like that. I can just change all that right in the same setting. So I'm going to begin outlining this hand. Again, we can clean this up later. I'm really tempted to like come up this way, but that's not what we're doing. We're just outlining this entire person here. So we're going to kind of go down the leg. And typically what I like doing is I like making almost everything a curve, especially when it's like a character or something like that, because it's going to feel really organic. Now you'll notice as I do this, I am not doing a whole lot of anchor points here, right? Less is more. It looks a lot better, a lot smoother. So this one, I'm going to actually kind of focus on how can I break this. So I'm going to zoom in, and I'm just going to kind of remind myself that if I hold down Alt or Option, I can actually grab that anchor point and move it before I even begin my next thing. So there we go. That's kind of a fun little trick here. I think I'm going to put that one right here behind the knee. Right, that's typically where directions change. I'm going to go here. Let's get the other leg. Let's get this right here. We'll wrap this in. We'll go this. We'll go down here. And there we go, I've closed it. All right, so how do we feel? Like that looks pretty good, rough little estimate here. And I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna zoom in, and I'm just gonna kind of see what's going on here because I don't think that looks great. So I'm gonna grab this handle here because it's attached to this and it's too far out. So I'm gonna grab that handle and I'm just gonna kind of pull that back down in. And remember, if I wanna move an anchor point, my goal is click on that anchor point once, make sure the other ones are white. That way I'm only moving that one thing. I see that I got kind of the same thing going on up here, so let's see what that one looks like. Well, I've got this really long handle out here, so maybe I don't want that line to have that kind of fast velocity out of there. And then it looks like I've got a nice long Bezier handle here. And so let's kind of see if we can clean up just a little bit. That is looking quite fabulous. Now, right here, I'm seeing, okay, I got the nose, but what I should have done is I should have cut this in to make the beard look just a little better here. Now, I'm going to show you a new tool here. I'm going to click on these three dots. We've got this plus and minus. Those are going to add and subtract anchor points. Keyboard shortcut for these is plus or minus. And so that'll give us, you'll see like my little pen there, right? Plus, minus. I know it says equal sign, but it's a plus. So I'm going to add a little anchor point here, and I'm just going to kind of make the feelings of a little bit of a nose. Let's look. This is looking good. His knuckles here, I don't know. Maybe I want to kind of make this one just a little bit more defined. So I'm going to bring that in. I'm going to bring this in. That's looking pretty good. Knee, bell bottoms, fabulous shoes. Look at that. That looks pretty good. Okay, so I've got something that looks great. Last thing I'm going to do is let's change this from a outline, so a stroke, to a fill. And over here on the left, there's
Layla Bevier Granger, please come to the attendance window. Layla Bevier Granger, please come to the attendance window.
There's that little flip arrow there, and I can spin those around. So there we go. I've got my first guy. That looks great. And I'm going to put each one of these on a separate layer. So I'm not going to talk you through the whole thing. That's going to be yours to kind of explore. But here, I'll do the setup for this next one. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to turn off that layer. It's gone. And then I'm going to add a new layer. And we'll move on to the next thing. Right? So this next one, I will go here. We'll go to our pen tool. That's the keyboard shortcut P. And we'll start outline this one as well. So it's some good pen practice, I think, before we do anything else that's kind of more scary. And again, right, I can swap these to make that a nice little outline. If you notice, this is green. That's because over here I am on layer 3. That's green. Whereas my first guy, that was on layer 2, so it was red. Okay, so once you have that all set up, the last thing that we need to grab, right, turn that off, is we need to grab the crosswalk. go. And all we have to do here is just grab these little pieces here. We're going to see if we can, oh, yes, perfectly on that. There we go. And so what's eventually going to happen is we're going to get something like this, and it's going to look pretty good because we are only going to go for that silhouette. Let's just kind of check what this looks like. Oh, magnificent, right? Already on our way to be a graphic designer. So there we go. Hope that video helps. That's our assignment for today. Have a great day.